Welcome to SVG-TV News and Sports for Tuesday, February 11th, 2014. I am Jennifer Richardson with the details. The St. Vincent and the Grenadines National Accreditation Board is again advising Vincentians not to fall prey and get scammed by bogus tertiary institutions. In a media release, the Accreditation Board is advising members of the public who are currently engaged in tertiary level studies or who are in the process of registering for tertiary qualification through local operators to seek guidance from the accreditation unit in the Ministry of Education. The Accreditation Board further made it clear it is not in a position to assist in the recovery of money lost as a result of persons' engagement with unregistered providers. Opposition leader Anim Eustace says he is happy with VINLEC's decision to subsidize the fuel surcharge for customers. The St. Vincent Electricity Services Limited earlier this month announced that it will be cushioning the fuel surcharge cost to customers in the absence of the company's hydroelectric plants, which were damaged by the December 24th trough system. VINLEC says its customers will this month pay 48.33 cents per unit on their electricity bills instead of 60.09 cents, with the overall subsidy to the company amounting to $1.3 million. In a recent interview with SVG-TV News, Eustace says he is satisfied with the company's decision as the additional cost to customers would have had several implications given the state of this country's economy.
Significant unemployment. We have about 30,000 individuals who have to pay electricity bills. That is the domestic consumers. We have businesses and we have industry. And in total, we have just over 40,000 customers who have to pay the electricity bills every month. VINLEC has that. When I heard about the 7 cents increase because the hydro was down, I felt it was excessive in the circumstances of our country. I was aware that VINLEC had a self-insurance fund, which means they're not paying out the premium to an insurance company. They put any money aside in VINLEC, in their accounts, in their bank. That's what self-insurance is, you know. They are taking a part of what you pay every month and put aside to insure VINLEC's assets. That's what self-insurance means. So the money was there. It was not paid to an insurance company.
The opposition leader said he felt it necessary that VINLEC use its insurance to subsidize the cost for fuel at this time.
We had a storm and it helped to damage the hydro. And all of the self-insurance was just for transmission and distribution. It was in the power of VINLEC's board to be able to use a portion of that money to subsidize this increased fuel surcharge.
Meanwhile, we hear that close to 30 VINLEC customers have taken up the opportunity to have solar PV systems installed in their homes. The company's Chief Executive Officer, Tony Myers, at a recent news briefing said VINLEC continues to facilitate anyone interested in having the system installed at their homes, which he said will be quite beneficial.
We also now have a buyback arrangement. So persons who have solar PV systems on their homes that generate more electricity than they need, it comes to us and we measure it and we pay for it. So it's important to mention while the government has put in place an incentive to encourage customers and encourage persons to use solar PV systems. These systems are expensive. You know? These systems don't come cheap, and it's not everyone. They're not many of us who can go out there and spend $15,000 to $25,000 to put in a solar PV system to save ourselves $300 a month. You know, that's not, you know. You spend $15,000 to $25,000 and save yourself $300 a month. In the long run, you may have a benefit out of this exercise, but you have to find that $15,000 or $25,000 in the first instance.
Leader of the opposition, Anim Eustace, said his party will not be sidetracked and will continue its activities as it prepares for the upcoming general elections. Eustace said the NDP will be looking closely at a lot of issues, including the voters list.
We have to look at, and we are looking at it. As a matter of fact, I dropped yesterday afternoon my constituency division met on that matter. And we're going to look at those things. You know, there's an effort being made now through the electoral office to bring the list more in line with reality. We can't have over 100,000 people on a list when our population is just over 100,000 itself. So about 30% of our population is under 18, so they can't vote. No? In addition to that, the supervisor has made some proposals to both parties as to how the list can be reduced. We have met with her on more than one occasion, and that has been implemented at the moment.
Since news broke yesterday about the recall of SVG's Deputy Consul General at the consulate in New York, no further statement has been issued from the government on the matter. In yesterday's statement, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, however, indicated that all matters touching and concerning the activities in which the Deputy Consular General was involved are under further review. As to the whereabouts of Edson Augustus, SVG-TV News was informed that he has since left New York and is in Trinidad and Tobago. However, he is expected back here soon. Augustus was appointed a diplomat in May 2011, 3 months after he resigned as a Seventh-day Adventist pastor. Students at secondary and tertiary level institutions here are being told to expect their laptops from the government in roughly 8 weeks from today's date. Speaking at the handing over of a quantity of computers and equipment from the government of Turkey on Monday, Minister of Foreign Affairs Camila Gonzalez says negotiations have been finalized for the remaining 12,500 laptops to be distributed to students here.
Everything has been signed, all the T's have been crossed and the I's have been dotted, and students should be expecting their laptops in roughly 8 weeks' time, because that task has been completed. And while we update the technological opportunities of our students, we can't have our students operating at a higher capacity than the government itself. So this is a very useful addition to our own attempt.
The Forestry Department in the Ministry of Agriculture is reminding the general public that the closed season for partially protected birds is from March 1st to the 30th September. Partially protected birds in St. Vincent and the Grenadines that are hunted include doves and wild pigeon. The public is also reminded to avoid disturbing any nesting birds or enter into the wildlife reserves for the purpose of hunting or harvesting of eggs at any time. The wildlife reserves include the Kings Hill Forest and all offshore islands, including those in the Grenadines. Meanwhile, the closed season for the hunting of mammals and reptiles commences on February 1st to the 30th September. According to the Wildlife Protection Act, first-time offenders are liable to a fine of $2,000 and, in the case of a second or subsequent offense, to a fine of $4,000 and 1 year imprisonment. Yet another country is in the process of extending a helping hand to SVG towards the rehabilitative efforts after the December floods, which caused extensive damage as well as the loss of lives here. 4 technical experts from Argentina are expected to arrive here tomorrow and will stay on until the 15th February to assist the damage resulting from the floods as well as provide assistance as deemed necessary. The Argentine experts include 2 agricultural technicians, 1 civil engineer, and an executive officer of the White Helmet Commission. In addition to several planned field outings to the affected areas, the visiting officials are scheduled to meet with representatives of NEMO, the Ministry of Agriculture, and the Ministry of Transport and Works. A landslide early this morning reportedly caused the road blockage between Rosebank and Petty Bodell. Pictures, which were posted online by the Petty Bodell Secondary School, show large boulders blocking the roadway, making it impassable to vehicular traffic. According to Communications Officer at the Roads, Building and General Services Authority, BRAXA, Roxton Marshall Millington, they were able to clear the road by 10:30 this morning with heavy machinery, which was already on the leeward coast, assisting with the rehabilitation works there. Several communities on the leeward coast were battered by the Christmas Eve trough system. In Rosebank alone, 5 people died from a landslide which completely destroyed a family home.